to actually redo, so you get to be JP High Tech from last week.
Oh, I got you.
Look at these guys.
Gotcha.
You know, so I do apologize about that, but glad you're here today, hanging out with me in the countdown.
Yeah. I am glad to be here. We got a kind of a big show tonight, right?
We got a really big show tonight with some great guests, but more importantly, Brant, how are you doing?
Well, you know, more important, how am I sounding? That's what I want to know, because I
that's
had
what's
to go.
up.
I had to go in and trade in. Well, I upgraded to the SM7B, so let's see if that's any different.
So he's now part of the SN7B crew. So you're SN7B boy now. That's what it is. You get to be a part of the group.
Do I get a jacket with a patch and everything? Like
well, there's some things you do get, but we can't talk about it over the air. We can't
Okay.
yeah.
So does that mean I need to talk like this from now on?
I mean, you should. Yeah, you got an SN7B. You got to turn it up.
There we go.
I had a guest on my Strick City show that I have on Thursday nights, and he is a voiceover guy. So we did a voiceover battle. Yeah, I can't have a voiceover guy on my show with my SN7B and not get close to it. Like, just go. Let's just go at it, because I feel like if I get close enough to this thing, I could do whatever. This is all state.
Anybody that's anything that's watching out there, let me know, because I'm going through the Rodecaster Pro and I messed with some of the big bottom and the all the different settings. So I don't even know what's the best way to do it, but you know, we're just trying. So there's Miss Jill.
Miss Jill's here. Steve Worthy, big shouts out to you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Everybody that's watching on Ecamm, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Everybody that's on our YouTube channel, the Stream Show YouTube channel, good to see you guys. Come on, check in with us. Let us know where you're watching from. And Brant, I'm always super busy, man. I wish there was another day in the week.
I agree. Now, I seen that you're doing this big giveaway of toys for the kids there in Birmingham, and I thought that was really amazing. You just kind of woke up one day and said you're going to do it. You didn't ask for permission.
No, I didn't. I was supposed to do it last year. COVID was just too bad. Actually, I caught COVID last year, so I couldn't do it. So this year, the plan went well. A lot of my friends came through as sponsors, so we're going to do about 30 kids in 3 Walmarts.
Wow, that is so awesome.
$250 each kid, and they get to go. They got 10 minutes to pick up whatever they want to pick up. So, you know, I'm really, really excited about doing that.
That's so awesome. I'm glad you did that. So
thank you.
I just think that's a great use of your celebrity, because I know you're a celebrity there.
I don't know about all of that. I don't know about all of that. There's like, to be honest with you, in Birmingham, there's like 2 or 3 people that actually know me, and that's it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3.
I have people in Birmingham that know me. Shoot, I should start me a show there.
You should start a show. Why not? It could be the Brant Collins and Birmingham show.
There we go.
Let me see if I can grab something else I wanted to show you real quick. Hold on.
Okay, you got 124.
I think we talked about this the other day, Brant. I had to plug my earphones back up so I could hear you. This live on everything?
Yeah. Man. Turn it the other way, though.
Well, does it matter? Well,
there you go. On air. That's cool.
So I actually got this in Big Lots, man. Can you believe this? It's like $10 in Big Lots.
You know, you showed that to me when I was there in your studio, and I was like, I need to get me one of those.
See how cool it looks when it's on? I had to go grab it and turn it on and actually make it a part of the show. But we got some people.
All that bokeh, though.
I know it, right? Blurry, it's just a little blurry. It's just like a light back there. So big shouts out to my man, Alicio Way. We are live. Thanks for checking us out tonight. James Hicks is here. You know what I'm saying? He says he's here for Miss Jill. I'm here for our guest as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for Miss Jill as well. Who else we got there? I already shouted out Steve Worthy, and man, we're about to get it going today. You need to lock in for this one. So it's going to be a lot that we talk about, and I want to be sure you don't miss anything at all. And I feel like I'm just so much taller than you. Here. There I am.
Always catches
just
you.
that fast.
Always catches you. And you got my name right now.
And
That's
I
awesome.
got the name right. You are Brant
Awesome.
Collins. Hey, I want to welcome everybody to the show today. I am DJ Strick. He is Brant Collins. You are watching the Stream Show with the Stream Guys, where we're just here to help you succeed. We want to help streamers be better streamers, and one of the ways we do that is talking about products. We talk about your production, like how you actually set up your production, and then Brant brings us all the tech, like he knows all of this stuff. Brant, let me ask you this question. How do you know all of this stuff about tech and streaming? Like, how do you get to be the guy that can answer all the questions?
Well, I worked in broadcast TV for 20 plus years, ran my own ad agency and production company, and probably around 2006, I used to run live TV. And when streaming software first came out, back in 2006, I had Wirecast. I figured it out because I started, making money, going out and live streaming for people. So, things have changed. I kind of got away from it and got back during the pandemic and got into Ecamm. And everything just kind of exploded, right? I mean, More people are making shows. Everybody's trying to go live. I've just been doing it for a long time. So, doing it to broadcast, you kind of get used to it. But used to having a $100,000 Grass Valley switcher and 3 cameramen, an audio guy. But now, once it could all get to my laptop, I was always experimenting. So always try new stuff, try all the new tech, figure it out, because it'll not only will it level up your, whatever you're doing, it also, you never know when you'll use it again in the future. So, you'll go for your job or for a new job or however you want to do it. So,
and all of this information, you started streaming last year. I think we actually started the stream show we started the stream show at the beginning of the year in January.
Right.
But through this, you have a new job where you are a full-time content creator. Working on your own show as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, working on my own show. That'll come out the first of the year. I've got to redo the whole set here and kind of upgrade some stuff. But, I took a job as a content creator for our public library. First 2 days I was there, I had Ecamm and was streaming. And I'm going to be doing on the 28th, you can follow, it's the Central Arkansas Library on YouTube or Facebook. I'm going to do on the 28th from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I'm going to do an 8-hour telethon. So
man, that's
get that
awesome.
all organized together. Yeah, it's
that's
kind of
cool.
Getting the guests is what's going to be hard, but I got, I'll be doing some tech testing and stuff this week. So if you follow my YouTube channel, just youtube.com/Brant Collins, you should be able to find it. My Vlogmas is actually going to be just kind of updating the process. So, and I'm actually counting this as my Vlogmas because I got it paired to my channel. So
that's what's
here's
up.
Your Vlogmas
So you're cheating today.
I'm cheating.
I got it. I get it. No worries at all. For the sake of time and having our guests wait, man, I really want to get the first guest on. And I'm so excited about this young lady because I just love the enthusiasm that she has for what she does. She's definitely a leader when it comes into production, remote production, how she does it as a entrepreneur, how she does it when it comes to her current job at the school. Like, she's just a real leader, and it's evident when she comes on to the Ecamm community and all the stuff she does. So without further ado, I want you guys to welcome with me none other than Miss Jill. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm so excited to be here. So great to be with you guys again. Thanks for giving me a call and asking me to be here. I'm psyched.
Listen, we're psyched that you are here because you just bring brightness to the show. You make our show look so much better. Look at that.
You got to sprinkle the female vibe in there, guys.
There you go.
There's a lot of male content creators, but the ladies are in here representing too. So I'm psyched to be here. Thank you.
Well, we do appreciate you coming through the show. One of the things that we want to do, and I guess I can start it in just a minute, we want to see your setup. Like, we've heard you talk and show some of the things as far as how you are doing your business, but let's see the equipment that you have inside of your studio. So in just 1 second, we'll get started with the Ecamm behind the stream.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's time for the Ecamm Behind the Stream. As you can tell already, I have Miss Jill set up. She's going to show us what she's working with in her studio. Now, I see you have a GoPro in your hand there. Can you actually start with us talking about your audio setup?
Yes, I can. And yes, I'm using a GoPro, which actually I'm going to make a GoPros are cool behind the scenes streaming cameras, but they're a little tricky to set up. So I did record a video today, a tutorial on how to do that. So you can catch that later. But starting with the microphone, which you don't need this behind the scene camera phone. This is the Wave 3. Now I do a lot of production at different locations, but this Wave 3 is a USB mic and it kind of stays in my home setup. This is the corner of my bedroom. So I wanted a mic that was totally easy. I have the same mic you guys have too hanging up here, but I don't have my cloud lifter, so it's not in the show today.
I got you.
How's the audio sound though? Is it sounding all right?
You sound great.
You sound really, really good.
Awesome. For a USB mic, I'm a big fan of this microphone. And the arm that comes along with it it doesn't come with it. You got to order it separately. But the Wave arm, I love it. It is one of the most convenient, sleek looking, mic stands. I really, really love it.
There you go.
I'm going to switch to another scene. So I hope I don't make anyone sick because I am using a GoPro. I don't have one of those cool overhead rigs right now, but... What do you want me to explain? Want me to explain?
So now we talked about your microphone. So the microphone that you have, the Wave, is actually a mic and USB. The interface is connected to that microphone. So you don't need an audio interface for that at all?
Exactly.
Great. That's what I want to know. So how about your camera and your lens?
Cool. So the camera that you cannot see, but the one that I'm using right here, is behind my teleprompter. And hold on, I got to get my cheat sheet, guys. Hold on. Oh, God, this is not the best behind the scenes. You know what, though?
You're doing great.
Wow, hold on. Let me just talk about it.
So
I have the Canon ZV-E10. So if you guys know Doc from Ecamm, he's the one that was like, Jillian, you need to get off the Canon, which is not nice because here's my Canon. This is my Canon 80D with a Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter 1.8 lens.
I like that.
I like it.
Yeah, it looks great.
I think
this
the difference.
Is a Sony.
This is the Sony. I will say the product mode with the Sony, like the fact that will just be so focused immediately. I mean, I am a big fan of the Sony, and that's plugged in via USB. I'm not using a capture card, so the fact that it's streaming and charging the camera is also a great feature. So I'm really loving that Sony. It's got the 16 millimeter 1.4 lens on it.
That's awesome.
Wow, so you don't even need a capture card or nothing.
Nope. I'm not using any capture cards today except for my GoPro. So
very good.
So those are my cameras and my lenses.
So explain real quick how did you have that hooked up from? Is that USB out of the GoPro?
So the GoPro is interesting. So I have you'll see here. Actually, let me switch to this camera. You'll see that I've got this pink cable here is a USB cable that's plugged into a battery pack.
There you go.
Right.
Because GoPros are notorious for just chewing through batteries. So I have a media mod on this GoPro. And once I'll switch to the scene where I can show you that it actually does look good. But I also have a micro HDMI cable going into a cam link and then going into my Cal Digit.
Very good.
Let me see if I can keep steady hands for a second here, guys. So I got some lights set up on the side here. I do have a ring light above me. And then I've got my Mac Mini. And then I've got this fun little clickety-clack keyboard.
That's a Logitech keyboard, right?
Yeah, I love that. So I didn't want to get it because I know all my shortcuts in my Mac keyboard. But then it was just so darn cute with all the yellow. I love yellow.
Cuteness overrode the functionality, right?
Well,
I got the same.
It's smart. It does the Mac shortcuts. You just have to do the software and tell it what to do.
I got a version like that. It's a gray one that's it's not the clickety clack, but it's round keyboard and it's small for my iPad. But I ended up taking it to work and using it with my laptop too. So it's like, I love that keyboard. So Logitech, they make some really good stuff.
Yeah, it feels so good. I feel like I'm using a typewriter, but I'm not.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we talked about your microphone, your camera, we talked about you're using a Mac Mini there. And what type lights do you have? I saw the ring light, but what type lights do you have just set up right in front of you? Do you know?
Right. Yes, I do. So these two right here, they're kind of one on one side, one on the other, is the Viltrox VL200T. They were kind of cheap-ish. Lights I found at the beginning of starting to stream. But I got to say, I use them so frequently because you can change the temperature and the power and all that. But also you can buy batteries for them and have them be fully remote. With all the stuff that I'm doing, I need to be able to have a completely movable setup. So having wire-free options is huge for me. And I like them. You can put them anywhere. I have one connected to a stand that's on the table and then one on a tripod. And then all the stinking RGB lights behind me are, I don't remember whose stream I was on, one of the many Ecamm live streamers, but they had put this RGB floodlights. I can't tell you how heavy this box is. It's very heavy. But it's kind of cool. You know, I got a little remote here and I can change the colors with my camera settings. There's only 3 lights that won't flicker. So I could do yellow. I don't think that flickers too bad. Pink is okay. Blue and then teal. But with my current light settings in my cameras, if I switch to something else, it'll do that wavy thing.
Got you.
I
got you.
Which is a look, but I'm not going to do it.
Well, that's really cool. So
Yeah.
tell me, what do you think is your favorite production tool, software or hardware in your setup?
You know, there's so many great things. Because now it's like, now you need them all. I got to say, I am a big fan of the new Sony that I got for sure.
Okay.
The ZV-E10. But also the CalDigit. It's one of those pieces of equipment. It's a, you know, it's an additional USB hub, right? It's a powered USB hub. Especially if you're going to be like me and maybe not use a capture card for every camera, if you've got multiple cameras, if you just want to plug in your camera via USB, you need to have all of the inputs.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
if you were to just use those little, what do you call them? The little ports that aren't powered, they're going to get real hot. Something's going to go wrong. You're going to think your cables are broken. So having a powered USB hub when you have that many inputs and outputs is key. It must be done.
That's awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
Miss Jill, I really do appreciate it, your time, and actually going through that. That's going to really help some people with the different aspects of how you do your setup. So thank you for being a part of the Ecamm
You're welcome.
Behind the Stream. Hey, Brant, that was really cool, man. I really like what Miss Jill has in her setup.
And we had her, you know, when we first started the stream show, she was a guest, and I can see she's upgraded quite a bit. Her studio looks a lot better. Her lighting's better. She's really been on top of her game, getting everything. You know, everybody's been kind of tweaking their stuff along since we'd started last year, so it all looks amazing.
It does look amazing. Can we do another behind the stream really quick?
We can. We have time. Do you know anybody that has a lot of gear that maybe knows a little bit about it and maybe has so much gear he maybe forgot about some of the gear he has?
I don't know. Let's see if we can find somebody that has like colorful microphones in their setup.
I bet you we can. How about another guy with glasses?
So now it's time for Behind the Stream, and powered by Ecamm, and he had to change his glasses out. Like, which glasses I'm going to wear to match the microphone? Like, which mic I'm going to have? None other than Keith Pelzer. Keith, welcome to the show, sir.
What's going on, people? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you.
Okay. All right. You know, audio is like the one thing that always keeps getting funky. Every time you need it to work, it's just that one time you're like, come on, dude.
It could be that way. It could be that way. But you are here live and in person, hanging out with us today, and I really appreciate you taking the time. This is a long time coming. Like, we had a couple of dates that just didn't work for us, and now you are here.
Thank you, man. My beard doesn't look as good as Brant's, though.
I know it. As you can tell, I don't even try.
Brant got that good. I like that Brant beard.
I spend more product on my beard than I do anything, probably. I'll be honest.
I'm getting there, bro.
Hey, can we give you some good product tips after the show? So
got you. We'll hook up.
Hey, can we go through your setup? You have this yellow microphone sitting in front of you. Let's start with your production behind the stream with your audio. Like, come on, Keith. Like, when we met, man, you had some really powerful audio tools, and now you're SM7B boy.
Yeah, well, I'm not really an SM7B boy. I am still a Townsend Lab mic guy. And but I like the SM7B so much that I'll use the SM7B modeler as well as the Neumann modelers on the microphone. But my baby is still my Townsend Lab. But for streaming, I like to keep it simple. And so, yes, I joined the SM7B and the MV7 team.
Welcome to the team, sir.
Very good.
Yeah.
So what audio face are you using to connect your microphone there?
Well, so here's the thing. Because I'm a producer, music guy, it's just like a phobia for me where my actual Rodecaster Pro is sitting on the floor because it was just too simple. I use a Soyuz instead of a cloud lifter. I use a Soyuz launcher, which I actually don't need, but I use it. But I'm using an Apollo universal audio system. And so I can like I have a chain of 4 different modules on this one mic right here, plus the box.
Wow.
Yeah, so that I can, just do a couple of things on it.
Can you show us where that setup is on your desk there?
Yeah, I can show you this. So I'll go, wait, I'm sorry. Here, let's just go overhead, and you can see it on the desk right over here. This is the, let me zoom out. I'll give you a better look at it. So the box is right here on the desk, and this is a 4-input Apollo 4. And so over here, these things that you can see moving over here, that's the whole mixing board. And there's 4 different, what can I say? I have 4 different modules in there just to make the one sound. So compressor, noise gate, so you don't hear everybody in the background and noise and stuff like that. Of course, the EQ. And I was able to use all the stuff that I'm used to using when I used to do production all the time. And so they've made it possible to take those big modules that you had in a big rack and put it into the system.
That's right. I love it. Do you have the DJ Strick plug-in for your microphone? Is that what you're using to sound so good?
Is that why you sound so good?
Listen, man, that plug-in costs too much money. It's called the Barry White tone, DJ Strick tone.
Sure, you're right.
I will say that I completely understand with you about I use my Rodecaster every day. I love it. But sometimes I really wish I just had the old school, like Sony or a Behringer, just a mixer, right? So I could control each end of, you control everybody. Look at all the, I'm used to tweaking all the faders, right? All the highs, the mids, the lows. But, if you're new to this, and it really does take a lot of experience in audio engineering to kind of get all those modules and everything set up right to sound good. Because I know I'm not an expert, and I'll mess it up if I tweak too much stuff. So that's where the Rodecaster comes in. Good for a beginner.
Yeah, and so with that Rodecaster, the Rodecaster is great. I love it. But for me, it just helped me to do what I know best. And so this is my audio chain right here. And so I'll have so when I switch the mics, this channel here is the yellow mic, that's the orange, and over to your left there, that's the stereo mic modeler. And that's my main condenser mic that I use for mostly all my projects.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. So there's a question from Steve Worthy. He's trying to get an understanding of how you have it all set up inside of your system. And I have them all over the screen. Why is it all over the screen here? Let's just take it down.
He says, so you use the Soyuz instead of the cloud lifter for the SM7B. Does the Apollo add gain, or does the Soyuz provide enough gain?
Thank you, Brant.
No, so here's the crazy thing. There's a couple people I talked to with just the Rodecaster Pro, and they have a SM7B. They sound wonderful, and they're like, "Hey, bro, I'm not even using that blue thing that you said I needed."
Right.
And they're coming out fine. Strick, you're another person. You, one of my brothers in Texas, they don't have cloud lifters, and they sound great on their mics.
I don't have one on this.
It's basically and you sound good. It's a sound preference. Like if you tell somebody you don't have it, they'll say you need it. But if you test them, they'll end up liking how you sound just because it's an SM7B and say, "Oh, you sound much better, Brant, because you got an SM7B." Then when you say you don't have a cloud lifter, they're like,
"That's why I bought it."
"Oh, you sound terrible. You don't sound good."
Right.
You know, so basically this is preference. But I will say to Worthy and anybody else that's trying to use an Apollo or something else outside of a Rodecaster Pro, you will go through some trials and tribulations trying to get the audio right. It's worth it to me, but for the out of the box person that just needs to get up and live, I'll be like, listen, don't do what I'm doing here. Like, you have to know your why.
Keith,
right.
Keith
You're a professional audio producer, so before you're a streamer, right? So that's totally different. You know,
I was gonna say he's advanced settings.
Yeah,
so you have the
advanced
setting button right there. So some of us need the easy setting button. That being said, you talked about your audio. Man, you have so many cameras in your setup there. Let's talk about it. Let's just go down the list if you don't mind.
Let's go around the room.
Not a problem. So just right on the Stream Deck, I'll just pop to the Stream Deck first of all so you can see. My buttons are lined up here. I don't have all the other fancy stuff. I actually have a video, and I'm using it now, what I explained on the video, where this second Stream Deck, I use it for a purpose. So if I wanted to queue up what camera I want to go to, I can press one of these buttons, and on my screen, it'll put everything from the press of a button into preview mode so that I can look at my cameras like an A10 Mini and say, hey, all right, let me make sure my jib is lined up right before I hit the button to show everybody. And so that's a great thing. I have a whole video on it. But camera number one, this was my main camera that I always had, and that's an A6100 with a 30 millimeter lens on it, Sigma 30 millimeter lens on it. My purpose on doing it, and I realize, is rather than just jump straight to a 16 millimeter, you ask yourself, what's my shot? And because this is my shot and I got that much room behind me, in the reach here, I'm just touching the tip of the teleprompter, a 30 millimeter just gave a better picture. And so that's that one shot. The next shot that I use mainly is this one here, and this is an A7C with a Sigma 2470 lens on it, but I leave it at 24 all the time because it's right here in front of me and the desk. It's catching wide enough to get the background, the room in the back, so you can see it, and that's that shot. And the teleprompter is sitting on there as well. So there's a glide gear on the 6100, and then there's a T3 des view on the monitor in front of me. The next one is a jib, and that's coming from this angle here, and that's a long cord running over to a jib. That's an A6600 with the Sony 55-135 lens on there. And because I don't need bokeh and all of that crap, I just need to point the camera, and I put a zoom lens on there so in case I need to show specific things in the room. For instance, I'll move this guy over.
Thank you. I was going to ask you to move it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if I wanted to move it over and show you, that's the smaller Apollo right there on the desk. That's the old iMac I spent a fortune on before the M1s came out. It's fully loaded, and the fan comes on every darn time. But nonetheless, up top there, that's on the second system. That's an A6100 as well with a 16 millimeter lens on it. And that is a DesView T2. And so that's a T2 teleprompter, and that is a custom mic that I didn't do myself from Colorware, and I just did it in basic tuxedo black and white. The next camera, we have the room camera. This room camera here is a
I'm gonna guess. Can I guess? Hold on. Can I guess?
Go
can
ahead.
I guess?
Go ahead.
It's not an honest guess. I already know what that is. That's a 5100. The Sony 5100. I already knew.
It's a Sony 5100. In the words of my back and forth with Doc Rock and a few other people, I would not recommend you get it unless you already know your why. And if you know your why, you won't ask should you get it. You would have already gotten it because you're just going to take the camera and throw it up on the wall. I cannot justify throwing the camera up on the wall. That costs a lot of money. So I search Macari app and whatever, and I catch like a bottom dweller. I grab an A5100. And if I have a shot that I just want to show, so if I wanted to copy off of Tom Buck and show a dog shot on the floor, I'm going to get A5100 for it. Or like Jill, another Jill. I got another favorite Jill. I got my Jill Scott and I got my other Jill. But the funny thing is, you just take an A5100 because it's going to give you that focus, the quality, you throw it on the floor. But that happens to be, and I'll show you from this floater camera. I call this my floater camera. This is an A5100. The camera I just showed you, that's that camera. And look at it. It looks like the white ZV-E10, but it's actually an A5100. And I forgot that I bought 2 of these. I actually have 3 white A5100s, and I forgot that I had it.
You're using capture cards or USB?
Yes, I'm using capture cards for all of these.
I love it.
Okay, so that's the floater. That's the one up on the wall. Showed you that one. Then there's the over the desk. This is a A5100, but I took the A7C full camera lens and I put it on there because it was just sitting around. It's the kit lens, and I just had that over the desk, of course, with a zoom on it in case I need to, get closer shots of anything and pull the shot back out. I have that over top. Last one, another A5100 is this. I call this the Love Cam. And that's the one to show this angle. Now I did that because I was thinking tutorials. I have a keyboard underneath here. So if I'm playing, I needed an overhead cam to show that. And then I also wanted to be able to show this angle here to show the different things that you're doing. So there's a keyboard sitting underneath here that I use. And then the last camera,
the last camera. We got another one.
Yeah, this is the ZV-E10, and I have that on a slider, and so that guy that's a slider that I had already. That just going back and forth, so that can show. I can place this anywhere in the room, set the scenes so that when I have to go to it, I can just go to it. I have another scene set, so this is going to turn and show the rest of the room over here. And so that is on Edelchrome slider, but that's a Tamron lens. I wouldn't recommend it now. I liked it when I got it for just showing it right in front of your face, but it's kind of got that bubbling fishy eye effect that's just like, it's
not too bad.
Starting to irritate me.
Too bad.
But Brant, it's bothering me though.
I think you need some more cameras, sir. You don't have enough.
No, I'm done. I am done. I'm totally done.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. What I like about the multiple camera setup, the what I would call them, or what we called them in production, is we'd always have a bump shot of the news desk and TV news over the shoulders, and because that was just when you went to commercial, you needed something to cut to, so you'd have them, over their shoulders stacking their papers. And I've had 2 cameras in here, and what would really be cool, you might try too, is it's fun if you're gonna go to the back camera to spin around and look at that camera to make emphasis on, what I mean, it just. If you move as you're talking to these cameras, it gives it a little more dynamic emphasis for things. I think people really enjoy that. But, I mean, that's pretty killer setup. So I applaud you.
Okay. Answer this question for me, Keith. Were all the cameras, how are you powering them? What kind of computer are you using to put all this into Ecamm?
This is really going to tick people off. And I want to say this. Jill, what Jill said, I agree with her 100%. It's funny when she answered the question of what's one of the most valued pieces you have, and I was sitting there like when she said the cow digit, I was like, you know what, sis, I agree with you 100%. Like, I love my cameras, right? I love my microphones, I love my flat screen, teleprompters, all that. But I was like, dang, that cow digit is a monster, right? I got one on each computer. But I'll say this to answer your question. All of the cow digits are in non-powered USB hubs. If that helps.
The cameras are coming into non-powered USB hubs, or you're saying your cow digits are going into non-powered USB?
So I have the cow digit, right? The cow digit Thunderbolt into the Mac M1, 16 gig, right?
The Mac Mini.
M1. The Mac Mini, right. So the Mac Mini M1 last year. So I got that. So I have 2 hubs off of Amazon, $30 hubs. And they're the nice little silver ones that are sitting on the back of the computer. I could just take the camera and show it to you. I'll rig it over there. But it's the cow digits are all, I have 2 of them directly plugged into the USB in the Mac Mini. And the thing is, I took those 2, put them into the computer, and 6 of the cameras are in those hubs.
I got you.
Yep.
Into the
it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird because if I'm recommending to somebody how to do it, but I hear the arguments to say you got to have a powered hub, and I'm sitting there like I'm gonna be quiet, but I'm flipping around 6 different cameras on one unit, and they're in the hub.
I'm gonna confess here as well too, and I've always been on a budget, so I've got a USB-C hub that I bought on Amazon. I think it's some name like Too Cool or whatever, Hot something. I mean, it's crazy. And I've got maybe 4. And at the point I had 4 or 5 cameras. I just buy those $30 Amazon USB adapters. I've not ever bought a Cam Link because I'm like, they work. They work. They're inexpensive. I can keep one in my pocket, have 3 or 4 extras laying around. I used to bring my monitors in. I use them to bring everything in. So, I mean, I understand, you get what you pay for, but sometimes if you're on a budget, some of them might not work. You might lose one because it's so cheap, but so far, knock on wood, I hadn't had a problem.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So tell me about the lighting setup that you have, because I think that's killer as well.
Okay, so I'm playing around with bicolor lights now. I had Neewer, then I went to Godox, and then I got interested in the bicolor because I had clients that would come over and, oh, I need to be softer and I need this, that, and the third. And I'm not a photo video expert. I'm more in the production audio music. So I don't claim to know what I don't know. I got a segment thing that I do called the No Pro, meaning I know what I know, but I'm not a pro at it. Okay.
Gotcha.
So here's the lighting. What I did do, I studied 3-point lighting. I kind of got them brighter now just for this whole segment, but normally I have it darker in the room. It's less light. There's a lantern light over here because when I do a stand-up setup, you just need it light. You just need a full light around you. I don't have enough space over there to do all this 3-point lighting, so I just needed one light to give a good full. These 2 here, I set those where one side is a little bit softer than the other, and then I always knew I needed a hair light, of which I don't actually have hair, but I have a hair light, and it hits the shoulders. So I just turn that on first, see how it hits the shoulders, and then I light it accordingly how I want it to be. Of course, shout out to Doc Rock and all of you who know this stuff. If you look closely, my hue lights, I want to tell everybody, be careful with these hue lights because it'll irritate the heck out of you. You just may get this flicker. This is flickering back here. But these other lights are professional lights where they're not going to flicker. These are not going to flicker. But the hue lights still do that. So you got to be careful with that. Most of the time I get away with it because I just know what colors to play with and how bright or how soft to put it, and it'll just work. So that's the lighting basically.
I love it. I love it. So with all of that, Brant, he has a killer setup, man. I love the fact that not only with the lights, you have the big dome lights. I believe in the dome lights. I have a dome light as well. I think it's really cool.
The dome light, it really impressed me, and I actually like this shot from there. It's just, that's my stand-up setup, and it I like it because I stand right there, and I only use it where if I wasn't showing the room on this and I was just talking to you guys briefly for like a 10-minute segment, I would actually position myself over there because it's simple, dome light right there. I can look at you guys straight into the DesView T2. The microphone is sitting right there, and it's amazing the sound that I get out of the MV7 with this universal audio setup. I think the sound is almost equivalent to this SM7B. I would argue that with the plugins.
Hey, listen.
So I will say this to people, and here's the thing. Shout out to my girl Felicia. I was listening to her, and I want to really bless people with this. All three of us, we're rocking SM7Bs. We know our whys. But if you went down the SM7B street and you still are not satisfied, don't be afraid to keep trying till you get what works for you. Because the other night, Felicia I thought she sounded great with the SM7B. I thought she sounded great. Her voice just sounds great on everything to me. But when we were talking, I was listening to her. I'm like, you know what, girl, you go. Because you're why. And Jill sounded great on her mic. You know, she's using USB. And shout out to Heather, you know, Tom's wife. Like, Heather was on with somebody with like 100,000 subscribers. And I was like, wait a minute. Are they both using MV7s on USB?
Right.
I mean, Tom uses XLR. His wife is using USB, and they sounded great. So I'm just like, do it because that's what you do and what works for you.
I think one thing too hard for us that been in production, we've been ingrained in our head for so long is XLR, XLR, XLR.
Say it, bro. Say it.
You know, and it's in, you know, cloud lifter, you know, because you've been bit in the rear end too many times out on a shoot or doing something. But that technology, you know, the technology today is totally different. I mean, these USB mics, I know the MV7, and they came out with another one that's just USB or just XLR, right?
It's just XLR.
Just XLR. You know, and I use the MV7. I bought the SM7B because, you know, Strick just made me feel bad. But other than that, now I'm building a set for my son to do his like some game streaming, and I was like, well, I'll just give him the MV7 and I'll get the SM7B and see if it's all that. You know, and so far I like it because I do want to do voiceover work in the future. So, you know, investment is good. But I have the USB. I take it to work with me. It works great. It's, you know, it's just the technology today is so much different than when we came up, where you said you had to have XLR. You know, and these microphones would have been $1,500 when we came up, not $300. You know,
right.
So, and it's a lot of it too is some people feel comfortable with the gear that they have, and that's fine, you know. And I watch a lot of other YouTubers that have hundreds of thousands of followers that have an iPhone and a USB mic they can't pronounce. You know, doesn't matter because their content is so good. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
That is so true.
It's crazy because I got extra cameras because my wife would come in the room, and you kind of notice and you do iterations based on performance, right? You do it based on what's your show. One thing I like to try to help people out with, don't buy until you understand your show, until you understand your streaming. If you're buying it for streaming, you got to understand your stream before you buy for your stream.
Right.
If not, you buy a bunch of stuff and you still never figured out your stream. So for me, I do silly stuff. My wife will come down here. She'll sit down with a glass of wine or sit on the sofa, and we like to have fun. And so if I'm live and she's back there, she may say something. Everybody's like, oh, get her on the camera. So I'm going to be a wisecrack. And I'm going to take a camera next to me, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to put that camera on her. And since she doesn't want to get off the couch, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to zoom it in so they can see her. Well, the next challenge I end up having was, okay, they were like, oh, we can hear her, but we don't hear her in the mic. So I'm like, okay, got a reason to buy a stand. You get a longer stand and you get it over there. So I ran an XLR. This is funny, Brant. And watch this, Strick. I ran an XLR cable around behind the couch so that the next time, all I got to do, and this is going to be funny, I'm going to put quick releases on the SM7B. So I just pop out, pull it up, and put it over there, pop it on. And now wife has a mic right here in front of her face on the couch. There's a camera at her. And I take the jib camera and roll it over to her, and I put them side by side in Ecamm just like you guys are.
I love it. I love it. I love the thoughtfulness. I love the fact that you are, you know what you're doing. and it is definitely advanced settings. Thank you so very much for sharing with us. I don't want you to go anywhere because we have more to talk about tonight. But this has been the Ecamm powered Behind the Stream. Want to introduce everybody to the new Tech Talk powered by IK Multimedia. And Brant's going to talk about some stuff today that he noticed inside of the Ecamm family. He want to answer a quick question by showing you some new products from IK that may be able to help and be a solution for you in your setup.
Yeah, so one of the things I saw today, and I know a lot of people in the Ecamm community are working with their churches, and someone said, hey, the choir asked me to stream. How do I mic up 20 people? Well, unless you're going to go buy 20 lapel mics or 20 stick mics, you're not. But a lot of people forget that if you're in a church, 99.9% chance that you have microphones and you have an audio board. So you're going to have to figure out how to connect into that audio board. And a couple things I wanted to show people were just some things that I keep when I was doing a lot of field production. And we can go over some of that. What's going to probably come out, most every board is going to have a 1/4-inch jack, which would be a big jack like this, to connect into the audio, like your mic in or mic out or stereo out. So you got to have some of these cables. And if it's an XLR board, you can buy these, which is a 1/4 to XLR. So you keep those handy. And then you also can keep a 1/4 to 3.5 millimeter jack, and I also have the same thing with the XLR. So you have all these different connections that you can try to get down into your camera. And one of the big things that you have to realize is, look for that audio out. Sometimes it could just be the headphone out from the audio board, and you might want to use something like this, that you can go 1/4 jack in or mini jack in to your most of your cameras probably have the same 3.5 millimeter jack. The other thing that I always carry is an XLR splitter. That'll turn one channel into 2 channels. So you put 1 input, 2 outputs if you're wanting the stereo sound. And then that said, if you need anything else, you should probably get one of these to carry with you. This is the IK Multimedia iRig Pre 2. And so I'll unbox it real quick. But basically what it does is it takes your 3.5 jack, and it has a headphone jack on it that you can listen to, because you always need to listen to your audio. We'll do a quick unboxing here. They package it so good. And you can see this here. And the great thing about it is you can go from, it's got batteries in it, so it is powered. You can go from your iPhone or into your camera, and you can go to XLR. And it also has a headphone, so you can listen to it. So one of these in your backpack, you can have, like I said, it's battery and it's powered. You can go into your, XLR microphone into your, your Sony camera or your iPhone. The only thing I can't find mine. I have to buy another one. If you have a new iPhone, you can get either a Lightning or a USB-C to 3.5 jack, like the old headphone jack. So those are just some things you should keep around. The other thing I was going to explain, and this has always caught me in the past. I had it sitting here. Okay. So you can see the 3-ring is a TRSS or a TRS. So TRS would have 2, and then the triple or TRSS. And the iPhones are all the triple rings.
You might have to put that one right in front of your face, because I still have your face focus. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So, it's got the 3 rings. Your iPhones and everything will have the 3 rings. Some of these can use both. So sometimes if you plug something in and it sounds terrible, it's probably this got the wrong connector, because a lot of times I've just done it out of the headphone jack. Find an extra headphone jack coming out of the audio board at the church, and you can do that. And keep some extra cables. Another thing I wanted to show real quick, I'm trying to go pretty fast here. This is another hack that I learned real quick, is you can take So like if you have I've got the Rode Wireless Go 2s. In a pinch, what you can do is you can take the audio out, the mic out, hook it into the speaker or the headphone jack, and transmit it to your camera wirelessly. So if you don't have a long enough cable, like you're setting up at the front of the stage or the sanctuary, and it's up on the second floor, you can use these to hack and make your wireless connection into the board. That way you get the full sound of the choir. And then, when in doubt, sometimes you can just set these on the stage with them, especially if they're in front of a podium. You can just set your wireless mic on the podium. It'll pick up pretty good. But always try to get into the house sound if you can. Most of all these cables I get at my local guitar center. So if you have and there's a lot of guitar centers, so it's usually easy to run in there real quick and find some of these cables and connectors and just make you a bag and have all of these in there and get something like this this Pro Rig, and you can connect anything to everything. So you just kind of need that on the fly.
So let's do this. Can you show the box to that iRig one more time? And this is what we want to do for everybody that goes to our Facebook page and actually likes the stream show. So I don't know if you liked it. We'll actually put your name into a raffle and give one of these things away. What do you think, Brant? You think that's pretty cool?
Well, what about if they're watching, they've already liked our channel? How about they just comment on the Facebook page in the comment of this stream that they would like to be entered? So because there's some people that hopefully they've already liked. Hopefully everybody here has already liked our page.
There you go.
If enter. I'm upset.
No matter where you're watching, because we have several different places that you can actually see this show tonight. If you just go into the comments and type in iRig2, we'll see it.
iRig2.
And we'll put your name into the raffle, and then whoever the winner is, we will contact you.
And we've got a couple more giveaways for the next show, and we'll have those as well. These are really, really handy. These things are good to have around. Buy all these adapters, because I know a lot of you are going to get in that situation where you're asked now that you're the streaming expert in your family or your church or your kids' choir, and they're going to say, can you stream it? And you're going to go, yeah. But you want to sound good, especially for the singing, and you get into house would be great. And the other thing would be is if you have a nice shotgun mic to do the best you can, in an auditorium.
All right. So this has
a lot of people commenting.
Yeah, they're definitely commenting right now. This has been Tech Talk with Brant, sponsored by IK Multimedia. I have been waiting all day for this moment right here. Now, I know we have some great sponsors. Definitely shouts out to Ecamm. Shouts out to IK Multimedia. And we want to support them in what they're doing. But, man, I wanted to get an opportunity to talk to, some really cool people. And Miss Jill is on that list. She's one of the cool kids, along with Keith Pelzer. Guys, thank you so very much for taking the time to hang out with us tonight, and your setups and your knowledge of how to stream and your production levels is just off the scales, man. You guys are great.
You're great.
Well, thank you so very much for saying that. No, Brant had told me that.
I just excited to see how much everybody has grown in a year, because it's really been a year since we all started all this stuff. Keith already had a bunch of stuff. He had 15 cameras out in the. He was out in the park one day. Weren't you out in a park or something? You had all these cameras moving around. One
of them was a GoPro. I didn't even mention the GoPros. Felicia was the reason why I was using the GoPro inside of here. But kind of like Jill was saying, that battery though, I was like, oh no, we are going to fight.
Brutal.
Because
the GoPro.
I like how you're using it though, Jill. Like the way you're using it, that's how I would use it.
Yeah.
With the kit and all of that stuff, but if you don't have that know-how of it, it's like don't do it. But you have the know-how, and other people.
I started using it with.
Do.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
To get a creative behind the scenes. I was live streaming hockey games, and I had one camera guy, and then another camera shooting the on a tripod getting the scoreboard, and then another one. And I wanted to have like safety shots because it was freezing and he was balancing up on a weird table and a ladder. So I put one GoPro behind the scenes on each of the teams so that after they scored, we'd follow them. And then as soon as they did like the high fives with their teammates, I'd go to that shot. And it was just this cool kind of creative. You could see everybody on the bench and see them high fiving each other. And so, yeah.
I'll tell you another hack
you can slide you could take the GoPro, put it on a snap stand, and slide it across the ice. Would be so dope.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Puck cam. There you go.
Yeah, puck cam. There you go, puck cam.
Now, I'll tell you another hack you can do. I did this, I think, with my GoPro 3 years ago. A client asked me to do they were building a new kitchen at a hotel, and they wanted, man, we really want a time lapse. I'm like, I didn't know how to do that. And so what I did was I took a battery pack just like that, mounted it up in the ceiling. Every day I would have to go in and swap out the battery and also take off the card so I can download everything. Then after, I think this was like a month-long project. So, I mean, I had to do this every day.
Wow.
But it worked, So that power, that extra power in there really, really helps.
Yeah, and I'm sure you didn't want to give up your phone for a time-lapse video that long.
Right. No.
Hey,
But
let me
also,
do it.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead and finish.
Well, I was saying if you don't have a GoPro, a lot of the things that Jill was doing, you can do if you have an old iPhone laying around. Like I have an iPhone 8. Everybody seems to have an extra iPhone. If your kids haven't got it yet, you can use those too, just like using the GoPro. So,
I like that. That's a great idea, Brant. I have one that I started to use right here in the studio, and I just keep forgetting to add the extra line for the battery because the battery doesn't. This is a 7, and it would be great, but you got to plug it in, right? You got to plug it in for the power because the battery is not lasting any time right now. I want to do this. Credit Dave shouted us out. He says he loves learning from the Ecamm fam. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. There's my girl Michelle hanging out with us saying this is awesome. And Kathy is here. She loves following Jill. Like you don't like following us? Like shouting out Jill.
Kathy.
But they have
she's the beauty on the screen right
She
now.
is
She's
definitely
the
the
glow.
beauty on the
She's the
screen.
glow.
Okay. Can we just say, though, that Keith he's like, okay, I see Jillian rocking the yellow. Keith had like an orange mic.
My
white
girl,
glasses.
that's what's up. You
like,
you are here, girl.
Let's be on brand. Let's
Yes.
bring it all together.
Right.
Yes.
I appreciate
I seen that yellow. I seen that yellow in there, sis. I was like, oh, let me yellow it up a little bit. Let me go.
I love that. And it's great to have options too, right?
Yep.
I only have one other option. So you remember I had a gold mic, right?
I do remember.
I changed it. The gold was cool, but it was just showing too many smudges and stuff on there. So I was like, I don't like it. And so I tried again, and then that's when I did the video to show how I did the microphones. And
you don't have a diamond encrusted one yet?
No, but wait, there is
cubic zirconia.
Okay, I just found this out. They have so the foam, and I got to say this live again. Shout out to Doc Rock. I actually have all of these because Doc told us about it last year before this time.
He gave us
the website. Yeah. Well, I got him the purple one, right? But I got it for him because I was like, I was the first one to go grab him.
Right.
And so, but Doc told us about it. And so I was like, I'm not going to be rocking the purple without giving him a purple one and let him rock it because I only have it because of him. And so people were like, yo, where'd you get that from? And I'm like, yo, Doc told us about it like a long time ago and we just never did it, but it's Reporter Store. And so I knew everybody was going to start getting them. I tried to be unique with the orange, and I looked up and I'm like, people in Ecamm are going to be rocking orange. I had a white one I graffitied on it, and I was like, what can I do to be different? And I said, I am going to wrap this freaking mic, right? Because colorware won't do it. And when Katie had our sister from Shore on there, they just are not doing a contract with it. They're like Apple. it's an SM7B. We don't need to do anything to it.
Right.
They're
But as a streamer and as someone that has so much personality, adding that personality to your mic means a lot to you, and I can appreciate that. I really can. Let me say this, guys. We are really coming up to this is a year for a lot of us being together in our streaming community. Now, Jill, I was introduced to you a little later on into the year. But I saw some of your work that you put up inside of the Ecamm community. I'm a fan. I'm a fan too. I'm a fan of
Jill. I'm just saying, I'm a fan of Jill. I'm happy to meet you, sis. Finally.
Well, you got to ask. Strick what my email
Alicio, they
was to him.
friends. Her and Doc friends. Katie, everybody friends. She friends with y'all. She not my friend yet.
Keith, I want to be your friend.
There you go.
I sent Strick a message. I was like, oh my God, I'm really geeking out over Keith.
There you go.
I'm a musician too. I sing, I play the piano. And so I've already been creeping on you for a long time. So I was
you didn't mention all the singing and piano playing before.
Yeah.
Now we got to have a musical show.
Hey.
You got to get it. See, you got to go ahead and get a Grammy or something so I can put Jill Scott and then I can put Jillian right here.
Yeah, let's go.
That's awesome. So, Jill, let me ask you this question. Like, one of your fondest memories in this past year, or something you can say, hey, when this happened, it kind of changed what I was doing and it helped me do what I'm doing now better. Do you have a memory like that as far as how you kind of leveled up this last year?
You know what? I got to say, when I first got into the Ecamm community, I was a consumer first, right? I'm looking through everything that's out there. And for me, I do so many productions. I don't do a lot at my home. I don't really have my own show because I'm producing on behalf of the companies that I work for.
Right.
So a big turning point for me was when I started to say, man, Ecamm doesn't have this feature yet. Here's how I learned how to hack it. Or, did I freeze up real quick?
No, you good.
No, I'm back.
You good.
So I started to create some little tutorials that were really concise, like, hey guys, I just figured out how to do this animated slide transition. And when I started to do that type of little, it was stuff I was already doing, but making little tutorials in the community, there was so much love and support and appreciation. And there was just this shift from me being a consumer to me feeling super appreciated and then wanting to give back. And then, so things just kind of spiraled from that. But honestly, it only came about because, and you guys all do the same thing. You're doing it right now. When you start to give back to a community like this, I'm not charging for any of these services. I don't have a mastermind class. Who knows? Maybe someday, I don't know. But figuring something out and then sharing that with people that might be struggling with that same thing has given back to me so much life, so much encouragement, and so much confidence in all the stuff that I'm doing. Even if I don't have my own show and I'm not doing some of the same things, or I don't have a crazy, ridiculous studio like some of you guys. But that was a turning point for me, the community I found when, trying to support others.
I love it. I love it. And Valley P actually said this. I'm going to put it back up here. She said, I love this. Y'all are such an inspiration. And I think all of us here, Brant, want to inspire other people, want to encourage other people in what we're doing, right?
Yes.
Strick has the dopest question.
So you are so funny, man. You are so
one
funny.
One of the things that Jill said that I want everybody to realize, I too have a day job as a content creator. And sometimes when you're working for somebody else, you're like, well, I can't do this and do that, on the side or for my own, or if they find out or somebody's going to say something. What I always say, anything that I've done at work is because I've learned and stretched my skills experimenting with doing this show or other shows, or just going live in the community, trying, figuring out how to hook up a gaming PC to this or whatever. And then I always end up using it at work. So, anything you're doing in this space, even if you're just a hobbyist right now, I guarantee you're going to be at the office or something's going to happen. And they're like, man, I wish we could live stream this. And you're going to be like, I know how to do it.
Right.
And next thing you know, you might be the content creator for your business or for where you work. But, it's always, somebody asked me, is it worthwhile doing it? And I said, you know what, even if you don't get any followers, you're learning something every day, and you're going to learn how to do this equipment. You're going to learn how to connect. You're going to learn how to talk, communicate. So it's worth it. Even if you never have your own show, even if you're just practicing, it's going to help you in the long run.
It's that skill set, right? Like, even if you're not an entrepreneur, or even if you don't necessarily have that ambition to own your own production company or anything like that, the fact that, Brant, that, like you said, the fact that we have the skills that we have, that was what led me from being able to leave teaching into making a 6-figure job in a school system that has.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, and then I can still do my stuff on the side as I want. But I as a parent of 4 young kids, needed to be able to have that steady stream of income and that job security.
Right.
And so, you know, for me, I get to do my hobby as my full-time day job, but I would not be able to do that had I not been able to be flexible and say, you know what, yep, I can live stream every home hockey game. I don't even know hockey. Right. You know, really. But I had the skill set, or at least the curiosity and the ambition to say, I can figure that out. I can totally figure that out. I don't have a budget. I can figure it out.
When I interviewed for my job, my current job at the library as a content creator, I did a Zoom interview on this set. I was like, I'm going to be here. And, you know, I looked better than everybody. I sounded better than everybody. And I also I said, oh, hey, you know, if you really want to see if I know what I'm doing, you can check out the stream show. Just, you know, so even if we don't have, you know, tremendous amount of following, we're not, you know, the Tom Bucks and, you know, Alicia Ways of the world, that it's still somebody can look it up and go, oh, you do have your own show. Oh, I have seen, oh, this, you know, they start Googling you. And that's the other thing people don't understand, SEO. I do websites for people. Anytime you're connected to this video and somebody starts Googling you, all these videos are going to come up, good or bad. But, you know, that's going to give you some swagger when you go to apply for a job. They're going to look you up and say, oh, they're, you know, they're ambitious. They're not just sitting on their laurels. They're actually trying to keep relevant.
Keith, let me ask you this question. I actually saw you in the Ecamm community where we actually got introduced on the Thanksgiving stream that we did that was long, and we tried to crash Ecamm, all of that. But I also saw you in the community teaching about the stream, the timers that you can do on your certain screens. All right?
Yeah.
Scene timers. That being said, over this year, you've done so many other things in your set, in your studio. You actually have clients now. Is there something that kind of stands out in like your timeline of this last year of how you transitioned to now be an entrepreneur and a business person inside of streaming business now?
Wow, that's good. Yes, it's. So the funny thing for me is, and I'm looking at Jill, I'm looking at Brant, looking at you, and I think we're all doing something full time of some nature, right? But then there's this space that you can have fun. So rather than, you know, I'm gonna be in the metaverse and all of that. I had Second Life account and all of that. But the real person you can get behind the camera, right? Right. At the beginning, so this is the thing. I'm a pastor and producer, songwriter, all this that, but I have this mentality of seek first the kingdom. So what that basically is I'm going to do it for ministry first. And so when the pandemic hit, it's kind of like, how do you stay in front of the people? Because in the room, they can see you at different angles. You know, how do you bring them in the space that you're in? And when Facebook came alive, when everybody's in quarantine, everybody's just smacked in front of a camera like this. Right. And then it's like shoddy and stuff. And I'm like, it's okay if you Ellen, Oprah, you know, the presidents or whatever, shout out to Democrats and Republicans, whatever, right? You know, Trump or Obama, whoever. Okay, cool. But you're not them. So if you're not, people, they hear about what they see. That's something I always thought about. So like Brant said, you show up in the Zoom and you got a dope set, you disrupt the whole meeting because everybody goes, whoa, my wife was on the set and she had to go on the news to talk on our local news. And the news guy was like, where are you at? And my wife was like, oh, I'm in my husband's studio. And the news reporter, she was like, oh my gosh, you look so much better than me. Bob, come over here, get my lighting right. And she's like trying to tweak everything up because she's like, yo, I do this for a living and this person looks better than me. Wow. So that took me to a whole nother level, but it pulled me back a little bit because I'm kind of like, just streaming wasn't actually making me no money. Okay.
Right.
So I had to say, I got to slide some of it into a hobby. But what I found out how to do was to work it all together, because the business, doing the business allows me to get the toys that I want. But I don't just play with toys to just play with them. They got to mean something for me. And if what I call a toy can make me money, then I'm going to use it. And so I play around with it and say, okay, I don't just have cameras. Like, I want to just warn people, if you just got money to throw around and you want a bunch of cameras, cool, but you're going to aggravate yourself. Know your why. And so when I thought about unboxing, I thought about explaining things to people. That's when you add another camera on. When it comes into sound, that's why you have two SM7Bs, because when my wife comes in the room and people like the way we interact and we're like ministering on the side in marriage, I pull the mic over, put her up there, and just let her do her thing. And I got to say this to Jill. Jill, I love your character, and I thought you had a show or something.
I do a whole bunch of stuff,
Right.
but not my own stuff, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I thought you just got a live where you just go ham and start talking. I'm like, I'm going to sit here for it because your character.
Yeah, she does have great personality, and it showed forth in the first video that I saw where you were doing a conference, but you had people set up in their different pods with different cameras set up. So basically,
Quest
you
diagnostics,
said, was that your very first one that you actually loaded up?
That was kind of one of the first in-person. Oh man, we had like 6 cameras. I had to figure out how to do it. Don't make fun of me now, Keith. Listen, I had to figure out, I'm like, how the heck do I have everybody in the room socially distanced,
right,
behind green screens? We didn't have green screens. And audio, I'm like, how do I, because the first microphone I ever had was, what do you think the first microphone I ever used for streaming?
Blue Yeti.
The blue freaking Yeti. Listen, this was 2 years ago. Listen, I'm not having it. So yeah, that was a big deal thing. So I had, the learning curve was huge, but I've been teaching for 11 years. I have a YouTube channel, Miss Jill, where I speak Brazilian Portuguese and I teach them English. So I'm used to being in front of students and live streaming and interacting with the comments and stuff like that. But I've been so busy producing other stuff. There's like an Economic Development Corporation, and we do a bi-weekly podcast with them, and the schools and stuff like that. But yeah, if I had one more day in the week, we talked about this, right? If I had one more day in the week, I would just stream all day long. I would interview interesting people. I'd do tips and tricks. I would speak in Portuguese. E aí, gente, tudo bom? I would just do it. I'd do some music.
I love it. I love it. So, and you have an amazing sense of humor too. And I know you're holding back. That being said, I do have something.
Oh no.
James asked for a song, Jill. Like, we need to know if you have the vocals or not. We want to know if you have the vocals or not. Like, is it true? Like, can you really sing?
Yeah, I sing. I'm a singer. Yeah, actually, I sing. Do you want me to sing?
Bring it.
I would love it.
What should I sing?
I knew it from that rasp in her voice. I could tell.
Yeah, I do. I am having vocal cord surgery soon, so it's especially Adele raspy sound right now, but.
Well, you can sing us an Adele song then.
Oh, I don't know. Now I'm being shy.
Don't be shy. I know you're not shy. You got a song.
Full screener.
All right. Oh God, you're full screening me. I gotta take an earbud out, right?
Yeah.
You're good.
I don't know. At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song.
I love it. I know you were just giving us a little bit.
Yeah, I know that little that's sandbagging right there. We call it.
So
that's sandbagging. You just give them a little taste. Like, if you ain't give me a deal, I ain't doing all that work. I sang at a Pink concert once.
Did you?
At a Pink concert? Wow.
Yeah, Pink gave me your microphone. I sang at her concert in Boston one time.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, my daughter's a singer. She does choir. I did choir and stuff when I was in high school, and we were just in the studio here messing around one night, and I went live into Ecamm. I got her buy me a coffee, and she just sang, and she made like $30-$40. It's like, so
that's awesome.
If you want to just go sing on, get you to buy me a coffee and start singing and taking requests.
I love it. So this is the idea, Brant. I got to do a talent show in the community one night. I'm just
There
going to
you
go
go.
live.
That's really good.
Everybody, David Hunt, I got to get David in it. Keith, you guys have to be in. We'll just do like some special stuff, really cool for everybody.
Yeah.
Show off the talent.
I'm here for it.
Well,
That's
do like
what's
my
up.
idea for the job I have. I'm doing the telethon. You could raise money. You could do a telethon. You got to have
There you
entertainment,
go.
right?
There you go.
So-
That's
There
a
you
great
go.
idea, Brant. Make it a
Bet you we
talent
could
show.
get IK Multimedia to give some prizes, and probably could talk to Ecamm, give some prizes. You know, could be actors. It could be singers, musicians.
Yeah, you
I
got
love it.
magicians in the
We've got some
Ecamm
magicians.
community.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys
Let's do
have
it.
been awesome tonight for taking the time to hang out with me and Brant, the Stream guys on the Stream Show. And we're so honored that you would do that. Definitely to show us like what you're doing behind the scenes. Both of you guys have an amazing setup. And
Thank you.
We're wishing you the best in whatever. I know by this time next year, who knows how much money Jillian and Keith are going to be making because of the streams, right?
Yeah, they're going to be.
Yeah,
And the Grammy goes to
Right.
Oh man.
Best Album. Jill win Best Album would be produced by Keith.
Hey,
If
let's
that
go,
happens,
Keith.
I want to be at the red
You
carpet.
get some
That's all I
royalties,
ask.
guys. You guys
Yeah,
are our
definitely,
managers.
definitely. We got to put it
y'all
together.
gonna need 'em.
Yeah,
Y'all
somebody's
get
got to
first
put it
dibs.
together.
Y'all get first dibs on everything. Listen, you guys, have you guys ever heard of Carter and Sanborn in the morning?
I haven't.
No.
Okay, so if you look it up, they were local Philly and like tri-state area. They were like the morning guys for so many years of our 80s and a little bit of 90s. You two guys remind me of them. Like y'all voices, y'all got the straight DJ radio talk voices,
Man, I appreciate it.
man.
I appreciate
y'all
it.
crushing it, man. Y'all are crushing it, man.
So let me tell you this story that I know we got to wrap it up. I go into the radio station talking about my next event that I'm doing for kids. And because we're streaming, you know, with streaming, you have a little bit more time for content and to talk. But in radio, it's really like 20 seconds. Like whatever your question is, it's got to be really quick. And I go in and I'm giving the streaming, you know, long form answer to everything. And I'm watching the video. It's like, dude, you were doing the radio. Like you needed to make that a whole lot quicker. So it's just funny how the different mediums that you could do as far as content, there's different time frames for it. And you always have to be thinking like, okay, how am I engaging the audience? And should I be really quick? Because the DJ had to go back behind me and then edit our segment audio and edit some of the longer pieces out so it can condense into you know, the radio spot, you know, in between the songs. So I thought that was really funny. Like I've been out of radio so long, now I've been streaming and I give all the streaming answers.
Everything's long form.
Yeah, everything's long
Yeah.
form. That
All right, so I
beats-
got one more. I know we're wrapping up real quick, but I have one more great idea and one more request. I think we should do a Christmas song like We Are the World. Keith could produce it for us, and everybody in the Ecamm community could send like their lyrics, right? We all sing a part. Have to find the song, but then we could have like the whole We
Good
Are
luck
the
with
World
that, Keith.
kind of.
Yeah,
That'd be
I've done a
awesome.
lot of video projects like that where everybody sends me their raw audio, and I'm
We
like,
are the
oh
world.
god,
right, trying to put that together, right? There'll be somebody like me.
that's cute.
that
You got it.
it'll be somebody like me that don't have a clue what a key is, and you're just like, I can't use that. This is let him lip sync the song, right?
Dude, I got lazy. When I got Ecamm and I seen how you can work it, right? And I was like, I kind of got ticked off because everybody's like, oh, I'm a coffee guy. And they got the little instant machines and, you know, they're coming in with Starbucks. I'm like, dude, that's corny. I do coffee, okay? And Jill, shout out to you. Watch this here. My older GoPro, I actually put it in the bottom of a cup and I poured the coffee over the GoPro. That's what I love about GoPro because it's waterproof, right?
Right.
So I'm shooting B-roll with the oldest GoPro. I just put it in water, poured water over it, put it in the sink. You know what I'm saying? Put it in the toilet, flush it to get the real scene. You know, if you want to do that, you know.
That's
so
funny.
I made my own jingle at the beginning, and then I got lazy and started using story blocks. But I used to make all my music for everything I was doing on my shows.
There you go. You're like the.
I
We
got
should make
lazy.
an
You're
like
Ecamm,
the Ecamm Peter
Ecamm
McKinnon.
jingle competition or something.
It got
can
boring
write?
though. I hate to do it. It's like just just go ahead and grab from, Epic Sounds or something.
I like that. So that's a good idea. That's a good pitch. The Ecamm, what do you say again? Ecamm Jingle. Ecamm Jingle competition. I love it. I love it, guys. We're going to grab that from you. Hey, Jill and Keith, you guys hold what you got just 1 second for me. Brant, man, what can you say? What another great show, right?
It's always a great show because we have great guests. I mean, the people in the Ecamm community are great. The people that we've met through this whole journey have been amazing, and they are always giving back, and they're always willing to come on when we ask, and I appreciate them for that.
So we got one more show left before Christmas. Mm-hmm. So next week we're going to talk about 2 different items from IK Multimedia. We'll have someone come on to show us they're behind the stream. And, of course, we'll get a chance to catch up with some of our friends as well. So thank everybody for checking us out tonight. I mean, I have Kathy. I have James Hicks. I have Steve Worthy. Michelle. Who else was out there? Miss Jill was in the comments, even though she was on the show. And everybody just watching all over the place. So thank you so very much.
Thank you guys, and we'll see next Sunday.
There you go. Y'all take it easy now.